The sharp crack of a slap echoed down the hallway, silencing the chatter of students and freezing them in place. Eyes widened. Heads turned. No one could believe what they had just witnessed. It was Emily Torres, the new girl. She stood there, her cheek burning red from the force of Kyle Briggs' slap, but her eyes didn't water like the bullies expected. They didn't lower in shame or fear. Instead, they narrowed, darkened, and locked onto Kyle's wrist like a predator sighting its prey. Emily wasn't just some ordinary transfer student. She had come from a life that most of these kids couldn't imagine. Her father, a military man, had moved them from base to base. Her mother had trained her in self-defense since she was 6. Emily had seen enough bullying in every school she'd attended, but this time was different. This was personal. It started a week earlier when Emily first stepped into Crestwood High. She was quiet, kept to herself, always wore a hoodie with her hands in her pockets. She wasn't interested in popularity contests or making friends with the loud crowd. That's exactly what made her a target. Kyle Briggs, the school's top jock and self-appointed king of the hallways, loved finding the weak ones. His crew followed him everywhere: Tyler, Sean, and Brittany. They ruled by humiliation, and everyone knew it. At first, Kyle tried the usual tricks. He accidentally knocked Emily's books out of her hands in front of the cafeteria. He made snide remarks about her clothes. He even filmed a TikTok mocking her emo loner vibes, getting hundreds of likes. But Emily never reacted. That only made him angrier. Kyle couldn't stand being ignored. Bullies like him needed reactions. They fed on fear, embarrassment, submission. But Emily? She gave him nothing. No tears, no anger. Just silence. Then came the day of the slap. It happened in the main hallway between 3rd and 4th period. The place was packed. Students gathered at their lockers, chatting, laughing, rushing to class. Kyle spotted Emily walking alone and decided this was his moment to break her. He swaggered up to her, blocked her path, and smirked. "Hey, new girl," he sneered loud enough for everyone to hear, "you think you're too good for us or something? Say something, you freak." Emily said nothing. She just stared at him, calm and still. That was when Kyle snapped. His hand whipped out before anyone could stop him. The slap rang out like a gunshot. Gasps filled the hallway. A girl dropped her phone. A boy at his locker clenched his fists but didn't dare intervene. Teachers were too far away. For a split second, time stood still. But Emily moved. Her hand shot up, grabbing Kyle's wrist before he could lower it. The look in her eyes sent chills down his spine. Without hesitation, she twisted his arm in a fluid, practiced motion. Kyle stumbled, trying to pull away, but it was too late. With a sharp pivot of her hips and a controlled grip, Emily applied pressure. Snap! A horrible cracking sound filled the air. Kyle's elbow bent the wrong way. His face contorted in agony. He dropped to his knees, screaming. Silence swallowed the hallway. No one had ever seen anything like it. The king of the bullies, Kyle Briggs, the guy who terrorized freshmen, made teachers nervous, and ruled with cruelty, was crumpled on the floor, clutching his broken arm. Emily stood over him, breathing steady, eyes sharp but emotionless. She didn't gloat. She didn't smile. She just let go of his wrist and stepped back. Moments later, teachers rushed in. Someone had called the nurse. Kyle was taken away in an ambulance. Emily was escorted to the principal's office. That night, the school was buzzing. Texts flew back and forth. Social media exploded with clips and whispers. Some people called Emily a monster. Others called her a hero. But for the first time, the victims of Crestwood High. The quiet kids, the loners, the bullied, felt like maybe, just maybe, things could change. Emily sat alone in the principal's office, waiting for her parents. Her hands were steady, but her heart was heavy. She didn't enjoy violence. She never had. Her mother's training wasn't about hurting people, it was about defending yourself when there was no other option. And this time, there truly wasn't. Principal Harris, a woman known for her strict discipline, sat across from Emily, tapping her pen against the desk. "You know this is serious, Emily," she said quietly. "I know," Emily replied, voice calm. "But so is assault. He slapped me." The principal sighed, rubbing her temples. There was no argument there. The cameras had caught it all. The bullying, the slap, the self-defense. In the end, there was only one decision she could make. Emily wasn't expelled. She wasn't suspended either. She was given mandatory counseling and conflict resolution